What's up, guys? Unless you've been living under a rock, I think everybody has seen now Jeff Nippard being assaulted by this Mike Van Wyck fella. I I don't follow either one of them. Obviously, I know who Jeff Nippard is. He's discussed a lot, and he's kind of become the face of science-based training. I never heard of this Mike guy before now, and so everything that I'm going to talk about is going to be based on the limited information I have and that I've seen. Like, I don't know, again, I haven't followed either one of these people for any amount of time. Obviously, I've seen the videos floating around. And when I first saw it, my initial reaction was like, sometimes you got to be careful who you're talking about, who you're talking to, who you're responding to. Because some people, especially older, like my age and older, we grew up before this. I think a lot of younger people are more free to say whatever is on their mind on the internet to whomever they want with no worry about repercussions. And I'm not saying that's what Jeff did either. Like, he didn't say anything like out of line disrespectful. So don't take that as me saying that Jeff instigated this in any way, because he did not. That's not what I'm saying at all. But some people can rationalize that, just the smallest little bit of somebody going against what you're saying, and take it personal. And again, not the right thing to do. Not a way you should conduct yourself as an adult. And I'm not condoning that. But that was my initial thoughts. And I don't know how old this Mike dude is. He looks like an older guy. Of course, given steroid use, abuse, sometimes people are like 25 and they look 50. I don't know how old he is. Maybe I should have looked that up before I made this video, but I don't know. I assumed he's around my age or older. I'm 38. I'll be 39 next year. So that was my initial thoughts. And that's something that that's not going to be the entire point of this video, but something I would like for some of you, especially you younger guys, to keep in mind. That the real world exists outside of this space. Like, there's real life, and there can be real life consequences, justified or unjustified. And in this case, they were very, very, very unjustified. But just something to put in the back of your head, because I know a lot of you guys have grown up in the social media age, and I'll just take, for example, like politics. I fucking hate politics. I've never liked politics, but I specifically hate seeing them discussed online, because it quickly devolves into, oh, you're a fucking idiot, and you're stupid, and you're a person wrong, and you're what's wrong with this country, and blah, blah, blah. That's online. If I go walking in Kroger in my grocery store, if I go to my son's school to pick him up, if I'm at the gym, people wear different political shirts and stuff, which I also think is fucking stupid. But nobody's doing that in real life. Nobody's saying, "Oh, fuck you, you're what's wrong," and nobody's starting these big, huge confrontations in real life. Right? It's online. It's what's happening online, and that's what people have become accustomed to. Is the online yip yap, and people will say wild ass shit online, because they know in real life nothing's gonna happen. Sometimes shit happens, okay? Sometimes shit happens. Again, it is not justified in this scenario. It's completely like Mike's a fucking pussy for doing what he did. But just be aware that the consequences can be there, justified or not. Anyway, twinks. We gotta protect our twinks, man. I know I've beefed in the past, and it was all online, and it would never. I don't condone physically threatening somebody or trying to impose your physical will on them, regardless of what you think. And we make memes and shit like that. And again, this goes back to that, posting shit online, and things, not worrying about consequences, because online behind computer screen when the real life exists. And we're all probably guilty of it to some capacity, and that's just the world we live in. I try to keep shit lighthearted these days. I think everybody, most everybody knows that at this point, like when I'm posting these memes, A, like half of them are about myself, making fun of or picking at things I do. And then B, it's tongue in cheek. I don't give a fuck how somebody wants to train. If somebody has a different training philosophy than me, if they think theirs is better than mine, whatever the case may be, that's fine and dandy these days. I'm here for it. And I think it should encourage discussion, not volatility. And we've become so used to everything being volatile, like the smallest little disagreement just turns into, oh, you're fucking stupid, post physique and blah blah blah, and post lifts, and if you don't bench more than I squat, or if you don't squat as much as I bench, like, I don't value your opinion. Again, tongue in cheek, just kind of funny stuff to run with. But this whole scenario was absurd. From what I could gather, they trained at the same gym. A lot of times I've seen in some comment sections, and again, I'm just going on what I've seen here. Anybody can feel free to correct me in the comment section. That they were aware of each other, and that they knew they were in the same proximity. Mike made a video disparaging science-based training, and why they all look mediocre and why they're small. And I've expressed some of these sentiments myself, because some of these influencers, and I'm not saying Jeff in particular. I don't recall the whole video of his. I don't know if he said Jeff in particular, but I think he was hinting at it. Maybe not. I don't know. When people subliminally make these things, it gets weird. But again, even if you don't agree with them, or even if you agree with some of the sentiments in his video, it's not something that you need to go physically fucking smack a twink over. And then Jeff made a stitch response to that video saying, hey, like, here's my accomplishments, here's what I've done with science-based training, and mocked him on that front, even though he's obviously not nearly as big. I don't know how strong or not this Mike dude is, but Jeff definitely won that little back and forth, if you will. And I guess Mike's giant gaping vagina got hurt. As I'm saying, be careful of real life consequences. Somebody who's going to bully like a 5'4", 180-pound dude, I'm not particularly scared of. And to come up and like shove him by the throat, which is all we saw on video. Allegedly, there was more after. Jeff says that it can be seen on gym security footage. Said footage has not been released, but clearly Mike was in the wrong. I think it's quite obvious he walks over there and shoves him. Jeff was nowhere in his personal space. Even if there was some back and forth yip yap, again, which I don't know. Jeff's story is that Mike walked by him and brushed up against him and said something, and Jeff chuckled, and one thing led to another. Again, there is a lot of he said, she said going on talking, but the video is very fucking clear, and it is, not something that can be justified. In addition to that, there's also a video clip. The name is eluding me, but it was a bigger guy. So if you guys are familiar with Eric Kanevsky, and there's some dude that he regularly films with, I'm not a fan of what they do at all. But there is a video of them confronting this Mike dude, and Mike threatening them, and the taller dude saying, well, hey, let's go outside and fight then. Or Mike said, I'll go outside and fight you. And then the taller dude says, hey, well, let's go outside and fight. And basically it's, Mike keeps running his mouth but walks away and doesn't take him up on that offer. Again, this is a short clip. Maybe it's edited and there's some other stuff left out of it, but it seems to indicate the energy of, Mike not following through with his words in this instance, where there's a bigger guy, yet going and, confronting a much, much smaller individual. And I think that speaks volumes. Again, Maybe that clip was edited or something. I don't know. But if you look in comment sections on many of these videos, it seems Mike kind of has a reputation for talking a lot of shit online, but really nothing coming of it. Yet here he is with this, what is Jeff, 5'4", 5'5", 5'3", somewhere in that, well under 200-pound individual. And Mike is allegedly 300 pounds. You can see the size difference in the video, coming up and shoving him. So if you're not willing to follow through your words and back up your threats when it's a bigger person, but you'll come up and shove the shit out of this much smaller individual who clearly didn't want any part of the confrontation. And I'm not going to say that's right or wrong. I don't know Jeff's background. I don't know how he grew up, where how he came up, how he was raised, etc. He should have never been in that situation to begin with. Like, Mike shouldn't have shoved him. Bottom line, end of story. Jeff's reaction is null and void, for lack of a better term. It doesn't matter, what he did or didn't do after that. He shouldn't be in the position to have to do or not do anything, over some words on the internet about fucking training, just because he was able to list off his accomplishments. And I'm not sure this Mike dude, like I said, I've never heard of him. I don't know. Again, somebody can correct me. What does he have any accomplishments in bodybuilding? I assume he's on the bodybuilding side of things. I know he's another post from Fuad, from Hostile, indicating Fuad being his friend, and I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, it just the energy that this exudes is pretty fucking pathetic, in my opinion. Like, that you would talk all this shit to all these people and not follow through with your shit talk to these other people, but because this 5'4" dude, like, basically mogged the fuck out of you verbally, you decide to go physically confront him, of all people. Like, come the fuck on, man. But I guess he is on a podcast with Fuad from Hostile Supplements. And Fuad is his friend. And I went to Fuad's post, and he basically said, that he's got Mike's back, and that, cancel culture is bad, and, two sides to the story and this and that. It's fine to have your friends back. But if you're a real friend, you need to tell your friends when they fuck up. Maybe he did this in private. Given social media is public, and all of these guys are, they do these things publicly. That's the game. That's the business these guys are in. I feel like there should be some responsibility to say something publicly denouncing what your friend has done. You can talk to him in private, of course, and you should, and tell him he fucked up because he fucked up and it was fucking stupid and ignorant. As far as like kicking him off a podcast or off the team or whatever, that's ultimately a decision that, they're going to make, and, whatever it is, it is. And you can support your friend who, committed a criminal act, with whatever, helping them get a lawyer or bail money if they get arrested, etc. But you need to hold your friends fucking accountable, first and foremost, and get them the help that they clearly need, and not just write this off as, something that's minor, because it's not something that's minor. Like, this is a big deal, especially, like I said, given all the shit talk that's gone on before from this dude, and lacking this same energy when it comes to other people, yet when it's this smaller person, it's bully energy. It's fucking bullying. And it's one thing to talk and yip yap online and have back and forths, and even sometimes be a little bit mean and disparaging. And again, not right, but it's completely different when it gets physical, especially when you're just much more physically imposing than the other party. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. And in addition to, the Fuad thing and the lack of accountability, again, from what I'm seeing, if you go look on the comments on Fuad's comments, he has one pinned, and maybe it'll still be pinned by the time this gets uploaded, of somebody saying that Jeff instigated it and walked over to Mike and got in his face. The video clearly shows Mike walking over to him. Like, that's non-fucking negotiable. And, of course, if you go on Jeff's post, him saying that there is camera footage and multiple witnesses there, basically backing up what he says. Again, I think it's obvious who was in the wrong, regardless of whatever online chatter happened first, or even whatever in-person chatter happened first. But Mark Bell left a comment on Fuad's post about karma will always catch up to these people. Fuad is responding, hearting, pinning a lot of these comments, but he completely ignored Mark Bell's comment. And that's like the one comment from a famous person on the post that's not really in agreement with Fuad, it would seem like. And I think Fuad ignoring that one and not responding to that one at all speaks volumes, given that he's in multiple other comments, like arguing with people, or, hearting the ones that have his back, or pinning those, etc., but ignoring the one from Mark Bell. I think that says a lot. And again, it's accountability and the lack thereof speaking volumes. Again, to sum it up, initially I was like, maybe there's something to be said for, and not justifying, but sometimes the old me that grew up before social media and stuff, you had to watch what you said, of course, in person, because there's consequences and repercussions. Not that that's right or wrong. And in this case, it was completely wrong. Completely wrong. Again, not justifying it at all. But yeah, it should never come to that. Like, over lifting fucking weights. Like, are you serious? Like, it's not that serious. Like, if you want to be anti-science, by all means, be anti-science and go oonga boonga everything and get big and jacked and strong, and that's fucking great. And if you want to be a science-based lifter and do your iliac pull-downs and whatever the fuck else memes science-based lifters are doing, and you want to get big and jacked, and or if you want to be science-based and never get big and jacked, or if you want to oonga boonga everything and fuck yourself up and never get big and jacked, either, all, anything. Again, the internet's so black and white, and there's all this fucking gray area in the middle that we mostly live in, but we just see the black and white. Big Mike Van Wyck is a fucking pussy. It's evident by his actions that he needs help mentally. Stay natty. I'm sure the steroids played a part in this. I know, and this is not saying like all steroid users are like this or anything, of course, because there are plenty that are fine, and that wouldn't do this. And there's plenty of guys on gear who are vehemently sticking up for Jeff in this instance. But, you mix insecurities, egos, steroids, just a little more fuel on the fire. And it's a recipe for some fucking absurdity like this to happen. And again, like, pick on somebody your own fucking size, dude. Like, don't go around shoving 5'4" dudes because they verbally eviscerated you on the internet. Peace.